Hi all, it's Kim with Rejuvenate Raw with Kim, and I am so honored to be interviewing superstar health and mindset coach Hilde Larsen today. I met Hilde about 6 months ago when I heard about the Dr. Robert Morse protocol. I had been very sick for probably 5 years. And once I discovered the protocol, I did a little research on who I wanted to choose as my coach to help me with the protocol. And when I found Hilde, I knew right away she was the one I wanted because, first of all, she had healed herself of a very serious illness using Dr. Robert Morse and the raw fruit diet. And second of all, she has amazing expertise in this field. She has lots of videos out. She's written 3 books now, Hilde?
Yes.
Right. And third, so important to me, was she also helps her clients deal with the emotional side of things. So before we get started, Hilde, I first want to thank you so much for what you've done for me. I can't believe 6 months ago, I couldn't leave the house. And look at me now doing interviews, hosting my YouTube channel, helping others who are dealing with the same kind of illness. So I just want to let you know that I will be eternally grateful for your part in helping me heal. So first of all, do you want to give us like your elevator pitch of why people get sick?
Sure. But first I want to thank you, and it really makes me really humble to hear you speak, because I do remember the woman in the robe that was, very low energy, and clearly a lot of despair, but still, that's what I saw in you. Still, it's, the inner power and the willingness and the eagerness and the, I have all my clients fill out the questionnaire, right? And
Right.
it goes through a lot of stuff. We're talking about symptoms. We can get back to that. But the one thing that makes my heart sing, that's the question: what are you willing to do? And you said, I'll do anything.
Anything. I was so desperate to get well.
And that's when I knew, together with looking at your
Right.
eyes to see your strengths and your willpower. And that's where the gold is.
Right. Right. So we started off with, do you want to go back to why people are sick? Explain a little bit about the
it's of course a big question that would take a lot of time.
Right.
And everybody is, sick for probably as many reasons as there are people, just because there are as many combinations of emotional and mental and traumas and diets and genetics and weaknesses. But in general, we're full of shit. In general, we're talking about holding on to toxins. We're talking about stagnation. We're talking about not moving. We're talking about not allowing. So on all these levels, it boils down to acidity. And that's what I learned from Dr. Robert Morse.
Right.
I'd gone through a lot of the alkaline, acidic teachings, and I was already a health coach when I met him. Mm-hmm. But the simplicity of the lymphatic system and seeing how simple the simplicity in walking towards health, it's freeing for a coach as well. It's freeing for all of us, because all we need to do is to walk back to nature. It's only us that makes everything a little bit complicated with our own inner troubles.
And that's, I think, what really resonated with me was simplicity and nature. It just felt right, because I had worked so hard for so long, trying so many things.
Yeah.
And it just made sense. It really did.
Yeah. And look at you now. I mean, you're gorgeous. I mean, and you're out there and you're creating at the speed of light. I mean, really amazing. You're such a model of what can be done in a short period of time. Done in a short period of time, and also how important it is to contribute and to share so that people can follow. And that's what, again, makes me humble, is that when what I do people run with it, and then more people can experience living a cleaner lifestyle, more raw food, you know. And even though
spreading the word, just spreading the word.
Yeah, people need it. People really need it. Yeah. But what I see with the simplicity, and again, why are people sick? It's, you know, health is easy, change is hard.
Yeah.
So why people struggle and why they will be very happy to see people like you leading the way is because they need to know the how. They need the recipes. They need someone that's real that can just show them the step by step into how to incorporate all of this.
Right.
You know?
And I love just telling people how I did it. You know, I'm not an expert, but it means a lot. And that's why I went to you, is because you did it. You lived through it. And that means so much more. So, but anyway, let's go on to how we started. You start off by reading the eyes. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, how I start off is, once you set up a one-on-one consultation with me, an initial consultation, you fill out a health form, a health questionnaire to me. Right. Now, there are several factors which makes it interesting for me to read and evaluate, because you have that. And then, like you said, you send me pictures of your eyes. Right. Now, I have never, ever seen yet a health history form that didn't go obviously together with the eyes. I was being sent from the same person.
Interesting.
Yeah. I never even wondered, like, oh, would those eyes fit with that story?
Right.
It always goes together. So that's interesting. Now, the health questionnaires gives me, a couple of things. Number one, I want to know your symptoms, obviously. I want to know everything that you're feeling on your body. So from I'm not a doctor perspective, that everybody needs to know, of course, I'm not a doctor, thank God. And, you know, I don't give
thank goodness.
I look at your symptomology to see how you feel, not what a doctor told you was, you know, on a test, but how do you feel? Right. Now, that's one part. Then I also ask you about your life. How was your childhood? How was your relationships? How was your work? How's your stress level? You know, what has happened? I want to map out who you are, because there's always an emotional root to everything.
Absolutely.
And what I see with diet, it's a door opener for so many of us, because it's easy. It's like monkey see, monkey do. You can take a fruit, you can eat it. So the body starts to naturally cleanse, to awaken, to rejuvenate, and then all of a sudden, all the emotional issues will come right up in your face as the gift that it is.
And you know what I've found as I posting on my Facebook page and people are replying is, most people, a lot of people, they don't even want to look at the emotional, because it's so intangible in a way. Like, okay, tell me what to do, what fruit to eat, when to do it. I can do that. But the emotional, you know, all that's so in our subconscious, we're not even aware of what's going on inside of us.
And the interesting part is, a little bit of what you're saying, for most people, changing their diet after the first week or two, you have to remember, not everyone is as strong as you are.
Yeah.
They can't do it because of the emotional.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it really takes both parts.
Yeah. So in that form, I will map out the whole you know, what you've lived and your whole story. I will ask you about your diet. I will map out everything that's, to me, very related to your health and your life. Okay. And then I look at your eyes, and the eye reading, I mean, it's amazing what we can see in the eyes. I can see how much mucus is there. I can see which organs and glands are impaired. It could be weaknesses. It could be that they're just so decluttered with mucus and stagnancy that nothing's moving. I can see if you have, you know, any skin issues. I can see how strong your genetics are.
Right. You know, I don't know how many tests by doctors, you know, they send them into the lab, come back with the test. Nothing was ever resolved. And then you do one eye reading. You told me more in that eye reading than I had learned in like 5 years in going to doctors and having professional lab tests done. So
there you go.
That is amazing. And I wonder do you think iridology is going to be the wave of the future?
I think it could be. Absolutely. I think it could be. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
But I think even simpler, the way of the future should just be go outside, pick and eat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But
Well, let's get to the, do you want to talk about the protocol that you gave me a little bit so people understand what they receive from you as far
yes,
as?
absolutely.
Okay.
So once I receive both the health history form and the eyes, I spend some time before our Skype session, which is a 1-hour session.
Okay.
So that I have all my notes. I've already read your eyes. I've already made notes for all the, the health history, so that I know who I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversation is not really about me telling you the protocol. It's about me getting to know you even more.
Right, right.
And then you don't have to take any notes. I send you all the notes. I send you, my notes for the session. I send you the reading of the eyes. I send you a diet. I send you an herbal protocol. I do use Dr. Morse's herbs. I'm also very big on essential oils, so I will send you an oil protocol. And anything else that I can see from our conversation that wasn't revealed to me from the paperwork, I will add in the protocol.
Okay. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what you saw in me when we first got started.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I was just pulling those papers.
I was just so sick at the time. Honestly, I hardly remember our first meeting. I know it was on Skype. I know we could see each other. I honestly don't even remember much. So fill me in.
Yeah. Well, I have my notes here, and I have something always outlined. I have Bravo on the diet.
Okay.
And there was something about smoking.
Yeah, you thought I smoked, that I had marked something on there, but I had never smoked.
Yeah.
I
write that it's the crazy strong genes that is going to save you. But there were exposure to chemicals that was the typical, I looked for, I could see the parasites, typical Lyme, depression, anxiety, RSA, the kidney. I mean, so toxic, just so toxic.
Exactly.
Like a bomb explode. And that's what it feels like walking around like that. I used to say I felt hungover. I just never went to the party.
Yeah. And for me, the anxiety was just unbelievable. Like you couldn't even describe what it is to someone else,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I couldn't even drive. I couldn't drive a car for like 2 years.
Oh, I totally get you.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And I know that a lot of the people watching, they get it too. They just don't know that anxiety is linked to the adrenals and all of these a lot of these feelings like anxiety, depression. We're talking thyroid, we're talking adrenals, we're talking your endocrine system, all of your glands. So once you balance and detoxify the body and regenerate, all your feelings will balance back, and everything that is connected with that will come up in your face, like we're talking about the emotional again.
Oh yeah.
That's where the fun starts. I always say honor the struggle. Every time something comes up that you really don't want to look at, you hit gold right there. It's like, oh my God, this is a big clue to why I'm feeling like I'm feeling.
Right.
Because
I think a lot of people aren't prepared for the emotional side of it. Like you said, we detox, and a lot of the physical toxicity comes out of us, but the emotional comes out too. And at first it's kind of scary, but then you learn that it's a good thing and you just let it out. And what I found is so incredible is you find out who you really are. Like, I never knew who I was from the time I was a kid. And your authentic self emerges, and it's wonderful.
It is. And you're touching upon something really important, because so many of us are walking around with low adrenals. And so that people know what I'm talking about. The adrenals sits on top of the kidneys. The kidneys control filtration of the lymphatic system. So they are big components in cleansing the body of all of the stagnant waste. So the kidneys need to filter. And if you don't know what that is, you need to just pee in a jar in the morning, look for sediment. Sediment meaning anything that's not clear, anything floating, stringy, mucousy, cloudy, I don't care what it is. As long as it's not clear, your kidneys are filtering out something.
And you know what's funny? You go to a doctor and they'll be like, oh, your urine's clear, you're great.
I know.
But when we first started, it's like, well, shouldn't it be clear? And no, it's exactly the opposite, right?
Or if it's not clear, they're telling you have an infection,
Yeah.
and should take antibiotics. So it's that's like the number one to look at. But when it comes to the feelings and the glands, the adrenal glands, they are anxiety. They are uneasiness. Right. And it's like a catch-22 when you're thinking about your life, because if you live in an anxious environment, or you grew up with something that you didn't feel safe or secure, you're going to hurt your adrenals.
Right. And that's just programmed inside of you, that anxiety from childhood, and it's just constantly running in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're looking at your thyroid, which a lot of us also has a very weak thyroid. Right. And that will show up as depression. And what else? It controls both utilization and absorption of calcium. So you'll end up acidic, literally, because you'll lack the number one, base mineral or alkaline mineral in the body. But it also represents yourself. So emotionally, because you were talking about authenticity.
Right.
I love that word, because that's what we're coming back to us. So we're not, people say, oh, I'm changing. Well, you could call it change, but you're not really changing. You're just becoming more you, or you're showing more of the real.
We're uncovering ourselves. It was just all
you're just
covered up with all that toxicity.
Yeah. And when you're walking around with a thyroid that's low, that means you've been walking around with your hand around your neck most of your life, not expressing who you truly are. Right. And that was what I saw also within you.
Yes,
the whole, just look at what you've done with your life and the changes since, in that short a time. It was the same thing. You were overly, what should I say, not bombarded with, overwhelmed by others, overwhelmed by how you were treated, overwhelmed by, how
caring too much about what people think about you. It's just so programmed in you.
Yeah.
So
and through that, and through being, walking like that, people we teach them how to treat us. And then we end up at the other end saying, oh my God, this is not livable. And it completely.
Right. And I know one thing you really helped me with, because as we are uncovering our authentic selves, then that's changing how we act, how we relate to others. Yeah. So then the whole issue of relationships comes up. Oh my gosh. Because when we change us, we change everyone around us. And then people don't really know what to think about it. And so can you touch on that a little bit? I know you helped me considerably with a lot of relationship issues, and that's a huge deal in healing.
Yeah, well, the thing is this, I try to always take the focus back to ourselves, because it's always, like you said, it starts and it ends with us, with how we feel about ourselves. And we never need to change anyone, but there is a small thing that we need to do differently still. We need to set boundaries. We can always speak our truth, and we can set boundaries, and we can be firm, but we only have one business, and that's our own. We only have our one,
that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Not to care what anybody thinks of us anymore.
Yeah.
And to be happy with who we are. Not to say that we
always about us. Happy people do happy things. Right. Joyful people, they do joyful things. Only people who hurt do hurtful things.
Right. Hurting people hurt people. So
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I could see that within you, that just from empowering yourself, just from taking back your power and seeing your own amazingness, and how, this goddess of a woman you are, everything else around you started to change a little bit, because you started feeling your worth.
Right. And I will say it isn't real easy to go through this transition, because you are transitioning relationships.
Yeah.
But it's really amazing that you can make your relationships so much better. And nothing feels better than to be your authentic self. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will hold back even wanting to change anything that will touch upon relationships, because we're so afraid of loss. We're so afraid of being alone. We're so afraid that if I change, they're going to leave me.
You know what? And you have to let go of all of that.
Yeah.
And that's probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
But once you do that, then things can change for the better.
Because it touches upon one of our largest fears, and that is of being alone.
Exactly.
And I see it go in that direction. You know, it goes towards being alone, feeling lonely, and then ultimately death. We fear death more than anything. So much so that we're afraid of living to the fullest. We're afraid of expressing ourselves to the fullest. When you get out of the shower and you're singing in your own house as if you were alone in the woods and you knew no one could hear you, that's when you feel free. That's when you know you're free.
Yeah.
You're restricting your expression.
And don't we all just want freedom? We want freedom, you know?
We want freedom.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And that's what health is. So people come, I want to feel better, I want to get healthy. I'm like, well, you might think you want to get healthy, but you really want to get happy. Happy is what you want.
You want to feel good. You want to feel good.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, I think we're about out of time. Is there anything else you want to tell us about your services and how people can get in touch with you?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. Well, my name is Hilde Larsen. I think you graciously said that in the beginning. I'm a health and mindset coach, a detox specialist. I am an author of 3 books, From Hell to Inspired, which is my story. Know the Truth and Get Healthy, which is more of a step-by-step book of what my experience is, the protocols. And the 3rd one is called No More Bullshit, which is more of a spiritual mindset book. It is not anything negative towards, bullshit. The title is more, for us to wake up to what's not truth. And the books take you from what you might not see and to where you can be.
Okay.
On top of that, I'm a life enthusiast. I love working as a coach. You can go to my website, inspiredbyhilde.com. I have a YouTube channel under Hilde Larsen. I have a membership site.
Right, and
you find information on all of that.
Yeah, I love your
membership site is great. Yeah.
Wonderful. And, I love being part of the membership site because you can interact with others who are healing themselves also.
Yeah.
So that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you,
everything.
Kim. I mean, I just love what you've been doing. And I urge everyone to go to your site, to like and to follow you, because you're real and you're living this. And I think that's what people need, not the big fancy, but just the everyday. I mean, we're all doing this together. That's one of my
authenticity and truth of what you go through, and that's what I try to express on Rejuvenate Raw with Kim.
Yeah, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. All right. Well, it was great talking to you.
It was an honor. Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.